Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Today in English, you're going to listen to the rest of the story, The Tin Forest. At the end of the lesson, your task will be to box up the story. Can you remember what it means to box up? Boxing up is just like a story mountain. When we box up a story or make a story mountain, we are thinking about the different parts that make up the story. There are 5 parts to a story. Can you remember any of these parts? The first part of the story is called the opening or the beginning. When you write about the beginning, you are going to write a sentence or two about what happens at the beginning of the story. This will include who the main characters are. The build-up. How does the story hint that there might be a problem? After that comes the problem. What is the problem within the story? Then we have the resolution. How is the problem sorted out? How is it resolved? And finally, the ending. How does the story end? Does it end happily? Read or listen along with the story now so that we're ready to box up. The Tin Forest. There was once a wide windswept place, near nowhere and close to forgotten, that was filled with all the things that no one wanted. Right in the middle was a small house with small windows that looked out on other people's rubbish and bad weather. In the house lived an old man. Every day he tried to tidy away the rubbish, sifting and sorting, burning and burying. And every night the old man dreamed. He dreamed he lived in a jungle full of wild forest animals. There were colourful birds, tropical trees, exotic flowers, toucans, tree frogs and tigers. But when he awoke, his world outside was still the same. One day, something caught the old man's eye. An idea planted itself in his head. The idea grew roots and sprouted. Feeding on the rubbish, it grew leaves, it grew branches, it grew bigger and bigger. Under the old man's hand, a forest emerged, a forest made of rubbish, a forest made of tin. It was not the forest of his dreams, but it was a forest just the same. Then, one day, across the windswept plain, the wind swept a small bird. The old man spilled crumbs from his sandwiches onto the ground. The bird ate the crumbs and perched to sing in the branches of a tin tree. But the next morning, the visitor had gone. All day, the old man walked through the silence, and his heart ached with emptiness. That night, by the moonlight, he made a wish. In the morning, the old man woke to the sound of birdsong. The visitor had returned, and with him, his mate. The birds dropped seeds from their beaks. Soon, green shoots broke through the earth. Time passed, and soon the song of birds mingled with the buzzing of the insects and the rustle of the leaves. Small creatures appeared, creeping amongst the jungle of trees. Wild animals slipped through the green shadows. There was once a forest, near nowhere and close to forgotten, that was filled with all the things that everyone wanted. And in the middle was a small house and an old man who had toucans, tree frogs and tigers in his garden. For your independent task today, you're going to box up the story of the Tin Forest. To do this, you're going to need a sheet to work on. Pause the video while you get a piece of paper and a pen. Hold the piece of paper portrait in front of you and fold one piece down like this. Keep folding until you have 5 boxes. Use a ruler to draw lines in each box. And then write the title for each box as well. The opening, the build-up, the problem, the resolution, and the ending. And try to include the date and title too, because that will help you when you come to use this work again later in the week. Listen to the story again and fill in the boxes for your boxing up sheet. Remember, you don't need to write the entire story out, just summarise. We'll do the first one for the opening together. We need to find out what happens at the beginning, who are the main characters, and where is it set. See if you can find those things while I read. There was once a wide, windswept place, near nowhere and close to forgotten, that was filled with all of the things that no one wanted. Right in the middle was a small house with small windows that looked out on other people's rubbish and bad weather. Here we find out some information about the setting, but we don't know anything about the characters yet, so let's keep reading and see what else we can find out. In the house lived an old man, and that's our main character. Now we have all the information we need for our opening. If you read the next page, you can see that this is more to do with the build-up and the idea that there's going to be a problem. Every day he tried to tidy away the rubbish. Your first box could have 3 bullet points. Number 1, the main character is an old man. Number 2, he lives in a small house. And the third bullet point, he lives at a rubbish dump or a scrapyard. Read the story again, and then when you've finished, complete boxing up the story.